That but until today, he's had the most points in the tournament. But it's been a lot of other guys have stepped up. Diabate, if it wasn't for him, we don't win the game against Grand Canyon. If it's not for Grant Nelson's unbelievable day. And somebody gave me a stat. I think the only people that have 24, 12, and 5 in an NCAA tournament game was, I think, Shaq, Tim Duncan, Channing Frye, and Grant Nelson, which is pretty crazy company to be in. So Diabate, Grant, Jaron Stevenson. If we don't have Jaron, go 5-8 from 3 and play as tough as he did and make as many blocks, rebounds, all that. We're not where we're at. So it's been a lot of guys coming together. This week off between games will hopefully get Reitzel back with us, because we're going to need all the firepower we can get on the offensive side and defensively. I've been watching some UConn film on the way back, and I obviously watch UConn whenever I get a chance. I'm close to Danny Hurley, but so it's cool that we play each other in the Final Four. It stinks that we play each other because they're really good, and you'd like to continue to advance. And once you get to the Final Four, they're all good teams. You got to play good teams, but we'll have to figure out a game plan to give us a chance to win this game. But I'm fired up for our guys. Had today off. Nice Easter Sunday we got back, but we'll get back at it tomorrow and start to put the game plan in.
You mentioned Latrell. There's a report out that's kind of has some optimism. First, what's the update on him? And second, how big was it to win to give him that shot to play in the Final Four?
No, it's huge because, with the head injuries, you got to make sure that you keep their long-term health at the forefront, so we don't want to do anything to risk that. But I think with another week off between games, it just gives them more time. They've got to pass protocol, and they're going to make sure that he's fine and not risking any future head trauma or whatever. So I think another week off gives us a real shot that he's got a pretty good chance to play.
Talk about watching some UConn film to try to find a flaw in a team that seems so flawless in many ways. How difficult is this scout going to be for you?
Yeah, toughest team we played all year for sure, but we've played some good ones. Purdue looked pretty good today against Tennessee. We played Purdue. We played Tennessee twice. We played Arizona. So we've played other teams that North Carolina was pretty good. We played some other really good teams, none quite as complete as UConn. Klingen's, our analytics people have Klingen second best post-up big in the country right behind Edey, and Edey's the best big in a long time in college basketball. So if it wasn't for Edey, Klingen would be the best post-up big in the country almost any other year. So, they've got him, but then they also have Cam Spencer can really shoot it. They've got, Tristan Newton's going to be a first-round pick, probably a lottery pick. They don't have many kind of go down the line. Like everybody they play in the rotations, solid, good. Like North Carolina had some non-shooters we were able to play off of. UConn doesn't have that as much, so we're going to have to come up with a little different game plan to try to negate Klingen. I thought we had a good plan against Baycott because we've struggled with some of these bigs, and I think it's good that we've played them. We played Creighton. They got Kalkbrenner's really good big. So we played some of the best bigs in the country, which is good. We're going to have to come up with a plan on this one.
Coach, have you heard any congratulations, texts, phone calls, et cetera, from any notable people that you don't normally talk to?
Yeah, there's been quite a few. I'm trying to think. Some NBA head coaches have reached out to me that I've gotten to know through the coaching business, which is kind of cool. That I hear from kind of randomly. Some other coaches in the business that have been good, mentors when I need them to be. If so, anybody that I've kind of talked to and traded phone numbers with that's into basketball, I think I've heard from. Which that took a while to get through all those in and of itself. There was 500 last night and then a lot more this morning. So we didn't have it was good we didn't have Wi-Fi on the plane, because then I can just watch film on UConn. I need to start to focus my attention on UConn. But yeah, it was pretty cool actually.
How do you balance celebrating the biggest achievement this program's ever had and then not getting too lost in that because you still have a big test ahead?
Yeah, it's good we've got a week off. I told our guy, usually with the guys, I said take 30 minutes, and now we got to move on because you got 2 days and then you're playing the next game. We got a week, so told the guys go ahead and celebrate for 24 hours. We're going to leave here. Staff's going to meet. We're going to get organized on it. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have the first day, kind of put the first scout in with the players. So players have been able to take the all of today and enjoy it a little bit, and then tomorrow morning we're going to get refocused on that. And and I've never been in a Final Four. It seemed like there was a lot of media attention when I won a first-round game at Buffalo, and a couple of years we did that and made 3 Sweet 16s here, and the media gets big. So I'm sure it's going to go through the roof with this. So I'm going to have to be disciplined not to be distracted from the task at hand. We're going to have to discipline the players. I have to make sure Steven, my SID, keeps all of you away from me so that I can concentrate on my job. But I'm just kidding. We'll give you appropriate time. But we do got to be disciplined and make sure that we get appropriate preparation time.
2 more after that.
And still enjoy the. He's doing his job, But,
Coach, talk about the future. Obviously, the job is not done, but but add a Final Four to your resume and to the future of this program. Just talk about what a Final Four like this does for the future of this basketball program.
Yeah, there's lots of good programs. I was pulling for Tennessee in the SEC, and I think Coach Barnes is an unbelievable coach and even a better man, and he's been great to me since I've gotten this league. We weren't able to watch the game. We saw the score and we landed. I was disappointed that they weren't able to make it. I'd have loved to see 2 SEC teams in the Final Four, but Tennessee hasn't made a Final Four. So Alabama's not the only good basketball program that hasn't seen a Final Four. So to finally get there, I know in this stage it's a big deal because Auburn finally got theirs the year before I coached at Alabama. I think they were making the Final Four when I was getting hired. So we now have ours. So we kind of have put, but the elite programs make Final Fours. The elite ones make them on a consistent basis. Now that we've got our first one, we'd like to jump into that level of elite where we're constantly challenging to make it. And I think we've been there, being the #1 overall seed. We're favored to make one, but in a 1-game elimination tournament, it's hard. You have one bad game out of those 4 games, and you don't make it. So we finally got here. I think it validates what we've been doing in the 5 years we've been here, and we're going to make it our goal to try to get here every year. It's not going to happen, so I don't want everybody to, shoot. I saw a stat. There was only 4 programs in the country that had made 3 out of the last 4 Sweet 16s. I think it was us, Gonzaga, Creighton. Shoot, the other one's slipping my mind right now. But I think there was only 4 that had made 3 out of the last 4 Sweet 16s. So it's not just making Sweet 16s not easy, let alone Final Four. So to make it good, I was talking to Greg Byrne. He was the AD at Arizona when they were really good. He told me this was his 4th Elite 8 game, and he was 0-3 in his first 3 at Arizona. So I didn't realize that. I don't think he told me that on purpose, just not to add any extra pressure to it. But I was really happy. He's like the best AD in the country. I love Greg and Regina both. They're such good people to work with. So I didn't realize we got him his first Final Four. So I'm happy that we got Greg his first Final Four. That we got the state of Alabama, the University of Alabama, its first Final Four, and we're going to try to get our team prepared to make a run in the Final Four here.
Last one.
Coach, how do you balance the priorities between rest and practice these couple days you got in Tuscaloosa?
Well, we're going to make sure that Reitzel doesn't get hurt again in practice. That's a priority. We're going to make sure nobody else gets hurt because we can't afford another injury. But we've got to prep, so it's not going to be a normal week of practice because it's too risky to risk injury. And now you got to practice live some, you got to do a little bit. But we're going to do a lot more, put the scout in, make sure we keep their conditioning up, make sure we get their, skill level back up, make sure they're in the gym shooting. We're going to have to make shots. You can't beat Connecticut without making shots at a high level. So we're going to make sure that we keep the skill up, and and we're going to do a lot of video work to show what the scout is, and probably more walkthroughs than live stuff. But we're going to have to go a little bit live, just try to make sure it's controlled enough to where we're not risking any further injuries.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys.